Okay, let's talk about something really important, control. And I mean, specifically, who really controls your digital life? I mean, really think about it for a second. Is it you? Or is it that handful of giant tech companies whose buttons we're all clicking every single day to log in, to share, just to exist online? It's a huge question, right? It's really about who holds the power in this digital world we all live in. We face this trade-off every single day. We almost always take the easy path, right? We see that login with Google or login with Facebook button, and we just click it. It's so seamless. But the other option, oh man, it feels like such a pain. You're juggling dozens of different accounts, trying to remember a million passwords. Your data feels like it's just scattered to the wind. It's this constant battle. What do we want more? Convenience or control? But what if there was another way? A third option? Well, that very question leads us to this really powerful concept, something called the self-sovereign idea. It might just be the path out of this whole mess. So, what exactly is self-sovereign identity? People call it SSI for short, and really, it's an idea that's all about flipping the script. It's designed to fundamentally shift that balance of power, to put you back in the driver's seat. The core principle is actually super simple. You hold your own info, and you decide who gets to see it, period. Probably the best way to wrap your head around this is to think about your actual physical wallet. The one in your pocket or your purse. It's got your driver's license, your credit cards, maybe an old university ID. Now, when you go to the movies and need to prove you're old enough, you don't just hand the entire wallet over and say, here, go through everything, right? No way. You pull out just your driver's license. That's it. SSI is all about bringing that exact same level of precise, you're-in-control logic to our digital lives. Okay, but how does this even work without a big company like Google or Facebook in the middle managing everything? Well, the answer is this really cool concept called the trust triangle. Here's how it breaks down. First, you've got an issuer. Let's say your university. They issue you a digital credential, like your diploma. Second, there's you, the holder. You get that diploma and store it safely in your own secure digital wallet. And third, you have a verifier, maybe a company you want to work for. They need to check your degree, so they ask you for it. And here's the key. You give them consent to see it. So the trust flows from the university, through you, to the employer. You're always the one in the middle giving the final thumbs up. Now, this isn't just some theory on a whiteboard. This idea was actually put to a massive, real-world test. And for that, we're going to head over to Europe and take a look at a really ambitious blockchain experiment they ran. So say hello to the European Blockchain Services Infrastructure, or EBSI for short. This thing was a massive, continent-wide project by the EU. Their goal was basically to build all the underlying plumbing for this self-sovereign future, using blockchain for the public good. I mean, this was a huge pioneering effort. And the promise of what EBSI could do, it was staggering. I mean, just imagine being able to instantly verify your university degree from, say, Spain, while you're applying for a job in Germany, or proving who you are to a government service without some central database logging your every move. The vision was to streamline Social Security across borders, even trace documents to make sure they were totally tamper-proof. It was just massive. And for you, for the average person, this was the dream. A clean, simple digital wallet right on your phone. You could just open it up and see your credentials, like a university degree, sitting right there, clearly marked as valid. The whole goal was to make controlling your identity feel this easy, this intuitive. But you know how it goes with these super ambitious projects. There's the vision, and then there's the reality. And man, the reality of trying to build this future was an immense challenge. Let's dive into that. And this slide really just says it all. This is the central conflict. On the left, you've got that beautiful, simple interface that we all want to use. And on the right, whoa, that's just a little peek at the unbelievably complex network architecture that you need to make it all work. It's such a stark reminder, isn't it? Simple on the outside usually means ridiculously complicated on the inside. One insider on the project used this fantastic German phrase to describe EBSI. They called it an eierlegende Wollmilchsau. It literally translates to an egg-laying wool milk sow. It's this mythical farm animal that can do everything perfectly. And that's exactly what the project was trying to be. It was trying to solve every single problem for every single person. And that level of ambition, it just created this overwhelming, crushing complexity. So a huge piece of that complexity came down to this, a total lack of agreed-upon technical standards. It was kind of like trying to build the internet from scratch, but everybody was using a different language. You can see it here. For every single piece of the puzzle, they were competing standards. For the identity part, should they use did.web or did.ebc or something else? For the proofs, should it be linked data or JWT signatures? This created so much fragmentation. It meant that even if you built something that worked great, it probably couldn't talk to another system built on a different standard. 38. That number right there is, well, it's pretty telling. After years of work on this pilot network, with the goal of connecting an entire continent, mind you, the total number of active nodes was just 38. It just goes to show you achieving that kind of grand scale was an absolutely enormous hurdle. And all these challenges led to a pretty sharp, maybe even uncomfortable realization, especially from the team in Austria. See, the whole reason they chose blockchain in the first place was because, in theory, it gives you this tamper-proof, decentralized system, no single company in charge. But the Austrian team's take was that a lot of the things EBSI was trying to do, well, they just weren't a good fit for blockchain technology to begin with. They started to question the entire foundation of the project, basically saying that a much simpler approach probably would have been better right from the get-go. So, does all this mean it was a total failure? No, not at all. Actually, far from it. This is where we get to the wallet's next chapter, where we see what was learned from this massive experiment.
See, the dream isn't dead, it's just evolved. Meet the EU Digital Identity Wallet, or EUDI. This is a brand new, much more focused project that was born directly out of all the tough lessons learned during that EBSI experiment.
So what's this new wallet going to do? Well, it's actually taking on a lot of the same core ideas from EBSI, but in a much more streamlined, focused way. The goal is still to provide a digital identity for every EU citizen. It'll still hold verifiable credentials for things like diplomas, passports, and even super important stuff like e-health records. And I think this is the real story here, right? The story of how technology actually moves forward. It's about evolution. These huge, ambitious projects like EBSI, they're so incredibly valuable, even if they don't hit all their original targets. They're the ones that push the boundaries. They show us what the real-world challenges are, and in the end, they're the ones that pave the way for smarter, more focused solutions to finally succeed. So, the tech is definitely evolving. It's getting smarter, it's getting more focused, but all of this brings us right back to where we started, to that big question that really, at the end of the day, is the only one that matters. As we build this new digital world, who is ultimately going to be in control of your digital life?